Once again, a Trudeau grilled about meddling by China. This time it was the Prime Minister's brother.
I must insist that there was no foreign interference, no possibility of interference, no intention or means of interference at or through the Trudeau Foundation.
Unapologetic about his role in a $200,000 pledge by pro-Beijing businessmen to the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation, signing for a donation at a time Justin Trudeau had just won his first election campaign as Liberal leader.
It was no surprise to me. It was an honor to have someone say they wanted to create scholarships.
The money collected only in part in 2016 and reimbursed this year after the Globe and Mail reported China was allegedly trying to buy influence. Alexandre Trudeau insisted the issue was not influence, but rather bad governance at the foundation.
You did not question the urgency of providing the donation around major political events for your brother.
No, because there was an urgency long before my brother was in politics.
And another urgent matter, a veteran Conservative MP says he's left with questions about China after meeting with CSIS over allegations of threats to his family by a Chinese diplomat, also first reported in the Globe and Mail.
I think the Prime Minister and the government, ministers, have to come clean about who knew what and when.
Questions echoed by his party's leader.
There are two options. Option one, either he didn't know and he's incompetent, or he did know and he's dishonest. Which is it?
We put confidence in our intelligence agencies to take the actions that are necessary.
The Prime Minister says he's now asked CSIS to proactively brief MPs about threats to them or their families, but whether in question period or at committee, the opposition says it still doesn't have any answers, and the only solution now is a public inquiry into foreign interference. Rafi Bujikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
All right, so let's bring in Chief Political Correspondent Rosie Barton. So, Rosie, what do you make of what we heard from the Prime Minister's brother?
Well, Adrienne, you can certainly understand why the opposition parties wanted this. Anytime they can link the Prime Minister's name to China and its attempts to influence or interfere in this country, there is a huge political potential. The problem is that in many ways, this part of the story about the Trudeau Foundation has become kind of secondary, and it doesn't really help Canadians understand what the risks are of China's influence. The Conservatives tried really hard to get the Prime Minister's brother to expand on some of his views on China, which have been somewhat controversial in the past. He made it clear he was there trying to defend the foundation, suggesting the whole committee was a waste of time, and he still believes that the donors with the connections to the Chinese regime were, in his words, honorable.
And what about that complaint concerning the Conservative MP?
Yeah, listen, these reports, as you heard from Rafi there, about Michael Chong's family overseas, potentially at risk, those are serious. And the Conservatives now have someone inside their own caucus who they can point to as someone who is feeling the potential impact of inaction on this intelligence. The government is probably going to be awfully relieved, Adrienne, when it gets those recommendations from David Johnston in about 3 weeks' time, because as time goes on, it's clear the government is struggling to manage this as an issue.
All right, Rosie, thank you.
Thanks, Adrienne.